Yes, you can let your AIs generate the first draft kasi siya nga yung hands, di ba? But at the end of the day, balik sa'yo as brain. Kung tama ba yung ginagawa ni AI? And if it's not, bring in your own hands to fix the shiz.
Hey, welcome to Work From Home Base, the official podcast from Onlinejobs.ph with your hosts, Jehan and Jessica. Tara, grab your favorite drink, sit back, and kick your feet up while we talk about remote work, real-life job seeker struggles, employer wins, and everything in between. Straight from the heart of the work from home movement in the Philippines.
Welcome back to the Onlinejobs.ph Job Seeker Podcast, the go-to resource for Filipino online specialists who are building careers that last. I'm your host, Jehan.
And I'm Jessica.
Yay! Kumusta, Jess? Excited na ko for our third episode. And this is also our first episode with an external guest.
Yeah, so I'm very excited for two different reasons. So the first is I am excited about the topic. AI is something that, alam mo yung everybody knows about it, but everybody does not know about it also. So it's a very interesting topic. And I'm also very excited for our guest, of course. She's a very good friend that I have for a very long time.
Hi.
Ayan, so yes, our focus really today. Excited din ako because everybody has dipped their toes on AI talaga. Even me, ang dami ko nang ginagawa sa AI but ang dami ko pa rin hindi naiintindihan. So our discussion today will really revolve around do employers actually notice if your application, your cover letter, your answers to application questions was made with AI. And Jess, ikaw na mag-introduce sa ating guest.
Yeah, so joining us to share her frontline experience is Ms. Fleire Castro, a fractional CMO and AI marketing systems builder with 18 years in digital marketing and 19 years in information technology across the Philippines, Singapore, and California. It's always nice to talk to someone with that much experience. So she's also the founder of Dasho Content and Third Team Ventures, a U.S. State Department Fellow and Global Entrepreneurship Summit Delegate. She builds AI marketing systems for growth stage companies. So welcome, Fleire.
Hello. Hi, ladies.
Hello.
Hi, Jessica. Always great to see you, ladies. Thanks for having me here as well. Okay.
When we were talking what would our next topic be, and then we figured AI. Of course, we've been following you on social media, so we know that you're very active in the scene. So you would be the perfect guest for this episode.
Yes, basically a leader.
Yeah, ang ingay ko sa social. But yeah, I think the reason why I'm also noisy is that, like you said, like the lady said, we're all exploring about AI, right? And it's just me sharing my knowledge online then. Like as I explore, as I go, I also share what I know online. So yeah, that's why maingay din ako sa social.
Pero can you share with us muna a little bit about what you've done with AI so far?
Yes.
Kasi ako puro generative AI lang ako, sulat-sulat, write this for me, write this blog, this caption. Pero ikaw, you really built something that really uses AI hardcore, no? Dasho Content.
Yes. So I think in order to share about Dasho Content, I have to start at the start, like how we started at Dasho, because we really initially imagined Dasho to be, just your regular content marketplace. There are other content marketplaces in other countries, as we know, those who are familiar with content agencies would know that a certain model like Dasho Content is already in the market. So we wanted to bring that into Southeast Asia, specifically starting with the Philippines and then bringing it to other Southeast Asian countries. That I was building that 2021 and then suddenly AI came into the picture at the end of 2022. So we ladies know what happened at the end of 2022, di ba? Lumabas si ChatGPT, nag-release, nag-announcement to the world that we are here. We are going to take over your jobs. So I, as a startup founder, I would say it's a different ball game when you are in tech because you really have to build the product itself. So while we were, we heard about the news of AI, we were following along with any developments. We really realized, when I say we, my team and I at Dasho, and my ex-co-founder, we were really following along what the development would be like. And then sabi namin, nako, this will really change how everyone will work, no? And then specifically, yung pinaka-first job na kinuha talaga ni AI is content writing. Mga besh, that's
Yeah.
bread and butter, diba? I still remember the time when I was offering like $1 an hour at one of your competitor platforms before. Oh, that I started with that kind of gig. Imagine how $1 an article. That's how I started. But now you can actually, like before AI, you could actually command more if you are a writer. Now that AI is here, parang balik tayo sa era of $1 an article. In that way.
Yeah.
Machines are now taking over the writing. So sabi ko, I mean, how are we going to move along with developing Dasho content if your competitor is something as big as AI? So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Because we are actually pivoting and, looking for a way on where we can execute Dasho content. We have really exciting development, but not something that I can reveal right now because like when you're a tech startup, you have to parang find the product market fit. So balik kami sa drawing board, balik kami sa drawing na okay, where do we slot ourselves in the world of AI? No, so I am sure, yes, tayong lahat we started with ChatGPT. We started with prompting, but with the recent development with AI, if you haven't heard of agentic AI yet, dyan na tayo. We're heading towards, not heading towards that, we're actually at that time or timeline in AI. We're now at the agentic AI. So timeline wise, that's where we are. And that's where my knowledge with using AI would be as well.
Grabe, no? Parang kaka-learn ko pa lang, ano ko pa lang. Like, I have just only recently grown accustomed. And I've only just been more comfortable with using AI. May bago na naman. Papunta na naman tayo sa bago. We have to be agile talaga. Yeah.
And as you move along with the progress of AI, what's interesting is, sabi mo nga, you built your startup around people or around creators.
Yes.
Right? And now with AI coming in, you took that into consideration. So yeah, mostly ang question also for the regular users. So wala pa tayo sa agentic, just the regular users of how much % of your work should you hand over to AI, whether you're a graphic artist or a project manager or a writer.
Especially a writer.
Yeah, do you have like for you a comfortable level na itong % lang or that % or first part or last part?
Okay. I think the best way to answer this is when you think of yourself as human. No, kasi that's how we see robots as well. Like when robots are embodied, we try to imagine them being human-like, right? So when we think of AI, parang as humans, natural for us to think of it na, oh, my eyes siya, my nose, my body. So I can answer that in terms of body parts as well. So how I use AI, the brain, parts of it, yes, I use AI as brain, but it's more of an orchestrator for the hands. So I use AI as hands more right now, but the brain, the main part of the brain, part of it AI, but most of it still human. Meaning to say, ako pa rin yung nasa behind the scenes. All the orchestration has to come from me. And why is it from me? Because I have the context. Context meaning to say, as a human, I have the environment in where I am operating. I have the industry knowledge. I have the depth as to the kind of relationships and environment I am operating in. So AI, when I bring it into the picture, I think of it just part brain, more of an orchestrator brain. Like when you start executing na ano ba yung part ng brain na ginagamit natin. So that's where the AI comes in. And also the hands. So execution si AI, it can help you become faster. It can help you move fast. A bit quality, of course, kasi alam naman natin, we force and prompt AI to become high quality as well, depending sa context natin. But most of it really, when you think of the, brain functions, ideally that should be human. And that's how I'm using it right now. So back end ako, a bit of the brain, si AI, and most of it me, and then the hands, mostly AI ngayon. So that's how I use AI.
Okay, so now that we are in that conversation, because this podcast really is for job seekers. So one of the primary questions na nakikita ko sa groups, sa mga forums, Quora, pinag-isa ko yung Quora tsaka forums. Sa mga forums is really the question of what's the proper use of how do you properly use AI when you're applying to jobs? So, kasi when you let AI do the 100% of your work,
Yes.
parang magiging generic siya, vanilla yung labas. So, that formula that you mentioned, Flair, it could also be applicable when you're submitting applications, right? Using AI.
So, the reality is that, okay, the reason why there was a point when we called Dasho content hybrid content operations. And the reason why hybrid is because, yes, you can let your AIs generate the first draft kasi siya nga yung hands, di ba? But at the end of the day, balik sa'yo as brain. Kung tama ba yung ginagawa ni AI? And if it's not, bring in your own hands to fix the shiz. You have to go in as a human and fix the things that AI missed. And mostly it's about quality. Yun yung usually mamimiss ni AI. In fact, if you would ask employers, and you yourself, ladies, right? When someone brings in their resumes and apply and even like send in an email with their cover letters, you could immediately detect that they're using AI. They have the tells. They have the AI tells, right? Like, ano bang mga tells natin sa email? Parang, hello, something. Hey, hindi nga hello ginagamit ni AI. Hey,
Yes, yeah.
hey lang. Oh, hindi na hello. Hey, blank. One more thing. Honestly. Before,
Seamlessly leverage.
before ang dami pang mga AI, parang ngayon na they eliminated most of those words, but then there's still the tell that this person really is using AI. So hiring managers, employers, they're not dumb, they know that you are using AI. But more or less, I also know if the person put in the effort of editing the output of their AIs. No, you can actually tell kasi walang context, parang generic yung cover letter nila, wala man lang personalized na it's not personalized to the job. But I would say, yes, I think you can bring in your AI to create the first draft, but as the brain yourself, go ahead and go in and check the quality of the work, please. Because we can tell if you're just purely using AI for it.
Yeah. I like to think of AI as like an accelerator.
Yes.
So if you're smart, it will accelerate your output.
Yes.
But, diba, if you're only pretending to know something, it will also just accelerate the pretense, and people will know. So if you're applying for the job and it's all pretense, lalo na mas mahalata siya.
Yan. You can really tell. Ano ba yung term na ginamit nila? The Dunning-Kruger effect? Parang you think that you are smart and
yes,
your AI validates you as well. Pag sinabi mo, let me pretend to be the best writer, okay, or the best digital marketer, let's say. Tapos wala kang talagang alam about digital marketing. Gusto mo lang magka-gig. Gusto mo lang magka-ops, di ba? So if you try to pretend that you are digital marketing, but you don't have the baseline knowledge for it, AI will validate you. They would say, your AI, your ChatGPT or your Claude would say, oh, don't worry, I can help you. What do you need? Okay, tanong ka naman. Sige, I need to make a cover letter for this job opening. So, paste mo yung job opening dun. Ngayon yung job opening, ang daming requirements na parang, probably you haven't heard of those tools that it might have mentioned. So, sabi ng opening, I need someone who is an expert of blank, like a specific tool. Ngayon, if you would try to create a cover letter for that opening wala ka namang expertise, then if you do get hired using your AI-generated, application, how are you going to prove it when you are at work that you are a true expert? Paano na? Parang 'di ba? Your employers can then tell, parang, oy, parang hindi naman talaga expert ito, but na-hire to, 'di ba?
Or
So,
AI makes it easier to kasi yung before pa ng time ng AI, we had this sa training na parang sinasabi na fake it till you make it.
ayun, yeah.
May mga VAs na ganyan yung ina-advise na fake it
Yes.
till you make it. AI makes it easier to fake it.
Yes.
Pero in the long run, it will still be detrimental to your career.
And it will backfire
Yeah.
Exactly.
along the way. Yes.
Mhm. True.
Because AI is highly dependent on prompts. So
It is.
if you're someone who does not know anything about the job, so example na lang tayo marketing because we're all familiar with it. Someone's hiring for a marketing manager, for example, and you just ask it to write a cover letter, for a marketing manager role versus you knowing what to look for. Sige, ito yung these are the items maybe that I should add. These are the experiences and the skills that I should be adding there.
Yes.
It really makes a difference the knowledge that you share and the stuff that ChatGPT or whatever AI will spurt out.
That is true. So, ang tawag dyan, context engineering. So, whatever you want your AI to create or generate for you, you have to give it context. If you don't give it context, you will just get, the most generic answers ever. So, when you say context engineering, you bring into the table your true skills. So how do you grab kung ano yung true skills mo? Of course, it has to be in the form of files. For example, you have your LinkedIn profile. Download a PDF of your LinkedIn profile. Maybe you have a CV, an old one lying around, no? Add it as context in your prompt, in your AI, upload mo siya, isama mo siya dun sa chat box mo. And then you add in maybe the job opening, no? And then you tell your AI, I'm interested in applying for this job opening. I want you to be the best resume creator, but I want you to pick the actual skills from my profiles here attached and create, the resume that is fit. Create the application that is fit for this job opening. So at least your AI now has context that these are the things that you can actually do. And maybe at the end of the answer niya, sasabihin niya, hey, but you don't qualify for these parts. So now, at least you know na I'm sending an application, but my AI assistant is telling me that I don't qualify for these items, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Diba? So now you're giving it the context. Now you have that draft, but you also know the honest to goodness reality that you don't qualify for these 5 things. Diba? And then now as a human, it's up to you, if you're going to still send that application or you're going to skip and go to the next job application if you're a better fit for that.
And I hope you were taking down notes because Fleire was already giving you notes on how to use AI. And I really loved how you said your AI assistant. Because at that moment, yes, it really should serve as your assistant lang, assisting you, in your job applications versus letting it take the reins and, sige, apply for me, basically.
Yes, that's true. You know what I do? What I teach my trainees, kasi nagte-training pa naman ako sa DICT so far. What I teach them, copy your entire LinkedIn experience, portfolio, about me, etc., etc. Copy all of that and tell AI, your AI assistant na, apply to this job, write a cover letter, pero your reference should be this profile from my para yung ima-match, hindi kasi ni AI yan AI will match what is in your profile to what is needed for the job.
Exactly. AI is very smart. So later on, if you still continue with your prompt sa chat mo and then you would say, oh, but I insist, I think I qualify. Ipa-prompt mo. You know what AI will say, right? It will say, yes, you're right.
Absolutely.
Binobola ka lang.
I'm sorry, I missed that. O, ganun si AI It validates your craziness. So, it's crazy enough to think that you qualify, then, of course, your AI would say that you do, and then it will give you all the validation in the world. Ang tawag nito, sycophancy. No? So, it will really tell you yes to everything. That is
Yeah.
why if you think you're very smart, your AI will also tell you, yes, you are right. You are smart. If you say that, should I quit this job and look for another one? You know what your AI will say? Yes, you should quit your job and look for a new one.
Like
Should
your
I-
best friend.
Exactly. It's going to be your BFF. But remember, again, balik tayo, it's an AI assistant. No, and you could give it whatever name you want, but at the end of the day, you have to have the brains to bring in and know if your AI is already hallucinating information it wasn't supposed to create.
Already being the Lulu.
Yes, don't be as delulu as your AI because really AI can make mistakes. I know this because like just last night I was coding up a storm kasi may dinideliver kami na feature. May na-miss siya. Sabi niya, yes, you already have this feature. Ito. Itong gawin natin. Gawin natin to. Let's create blah, blah, blah. And then I had to remind it, excuse me, did you know that we already have that feature na ganito siya and the context is this? I want you to look up your memory and remember that we already discussed this before. So your AI is not really that, reliable. That's why you really have to double check its work. It can make you fast. Tama si Miss Jessica, no? It can accelerate your craziness. It can accelerate your work. But you have to check the quality, please. I mean, go back, bring your brain, check the quality and fix it.
I'll ask another, this weird, hindi naman weird, but it's something that's already predictable. Or it's a very common question already for interviews. How should the job seekers answer if they are asked if did AI write the application?
Well, I think as an applicant, you have to be honest. Like what percentage of your AI assistant did the work? You can say, yes, this was AI generated, but I edited it to fit the qualifications of the job opening. It failed to mention this and that. What I customized was this one. What it didn't mention was this. You can disclose. I mean, if an employer would look at my application and then ask AI generated this, I would be honest. I mean, everyone uses AI now. I mean, don't pretend you don't, diba?
So like if somebody told you, for example, that no, I didn't use AI, but it was so obviously written by AI,
Exactly.
the likelihood of them getting the job is
Yeah, because if they can lie at the interview pa lang, then imagine the things that they could lie about when they are already hired.
Exactly, that's right. So ano lang, Flair, kasi ikaw kasi you have your feet in both worlds. Eh. You know the context from a job seeker's perspective,
Yes.
and you also know it from an employer's perspective. So if you are the employer and you're interviewing somebody na obviously used AI in their application, what are some of the tells or how would you, kumbaga, paano papaikutin yung questions to make them explain better whatever they've included in their application, like in their cover letter? How would you question them? What questions would you normally ask them?
Okay. So I imagine an applicant bringing me an AI generated cover letter, maybe a bit customized if they prompted it correctly. They bring in their AI generated resumes as well that's polished up because, AI definitely generated a PDF for that. If they bring all of that and I don't have any other choice, I will have to look into, first, if it's a developer, I will look at their GitHub because their activity can actually tell you if they have been actively coding or just recently been vibe coding.
Mhm.
Kasi there's a difference if you're a classic developer
Yes.
Yeah.
versus a recent vibe coder. You can
Yes.
tell, right? Second is job applicants should not be angry if their incoming employers or the recruiters would ask them to create a video because this is the only way that employers can validate that you're a real person actually applying for the job and not a bot and not some robot that sent in millions of applications and just waiting to get hired. No face, no identity, or maybe just a created identity because it happens.
yeah.
Right? There are people out there
Yes.
manufacturing a lot of job applications. They're even tracking them in the dashboard. How many were sent out today? How many replied? if they can automate that whole thing, us employers can also automate that. Sabi nga nila, in the future, di ba, it's just going to be bots talking to each other. Right? The applicant and the recruiter. It's just going to be back and forth of AI generated resume. Okay, I have an AI filter. I have an AI resume filter that can detect if you're AI and then if you fit for the job. And then, so I go back to you, but it's not me, it's my bot that's sending you an email saying, okay, move to the next part of the process. Record for me a video. So now, paano ba? Ikaw na yung stand na part kasi you're the applicant, you're now asked to create a video. Yung iba naman, magaling din, they also can create a video because AI can generate avatars now, right? So they go back, they say, okay, they go to their AI, make me a video that answers these questions from this recruiter or send me a video. O ikaw din naman, okay, balls in your court, employer. How are you going to handle AI-generated videos? Well, yes, you can process that. There are tools as well. Ingest the video, get the script nila, ano yung sinasabi nila on the application, process it, kung fit ba yung mga responses niya. Yun lang naman yung need niya. Kahit tao pa yan or robot, you're not really going to look at the images, di ba, of the video. You're basically just looking for the answers. Anong sabi niya dun? So, imagine that back and forth, puro robots na kayo. So, I would say, aside from asking them to record a video, I guess kasi mahirap pa ngayon. Yes, you can record a video, but API credits are very expensive.
Yes.
Everyone can afford to generate videos, using AI kasi expensive nga siya using APIs. Now, that's one way because authentic pa yung video. Kaya nga ako, when I knew that AI can generate text, I went to creating reels and videos. If I can, like authentically ako talaga. Kasi ang videos ngayon. Yes, on the employer's end, ask them to create a video, and let them answer questions. And then at the tail end of your recruitment process, you have to meet them face to face, just like this one, diba? Like you're recording it on Zoom or on Gmeet, and talagang interview mo sila face to face, no? That is the only way that you would know that it wasn't AI generated. Don't give them questions ahead because they're just gonna generate it and, prepare answers. At least, kayo, like talagang conversation, human to human. And then you would know because you can get the vibe of the person. You can tell if they are a fit for your culture and for your requirements of the job. And that's the only advice I can give right now for employers, because maybe later in the future, automated na din yung mga interviews. Nagdadala na ng mga live avatar, real-time avatars, di ba? So,
actually, it's good that you mentioned that na humingi ng videos ng employers because I've seen in a lot of freelancer forums sa mga Facebook groups ng mga VAs, freelancers, developers. Isa sa parang everybody's angry about it. Parang everybody's really reacting negatively to being asked na send a video, record a video of you answering these 5 questions, ganyan. But it's good that you mentioned that, Fleire, kasi eto nga, this is proof. Fleire is an employer. Fleire accepts regular applications from people, so she knows what she's talking about. So if you're a job seeker, makinig kayo kay Fleire. Please lang.
Yes, and I think a lot of other people who are using AI, they're not necessarily using AI for the AI. I think there are a lot of users who choose to use it kasi hirap sila sa English.
Yes.
That's their shame. Kaya nahihirapan sila mag-apply. And that's why they use it. So I think it's important to note, if you're a job seeker, those employers, especially if you don't need English naman, you're a developer, you're a designer, you're not naman front-facing, you're not talking to customers, they don't care if you don't have the perfect grammar. They care about your skills. So don't be afraid. They already know that there's a possibility that this person is not perfect in English. But I would really love to talk to that person.
yes. Yeah.
Diba? So that's a good sign that they're asking for your video or they're asking to talk to you. It's not because AI generated this. It's because they saw the skills that were listed down.
Yes, it means pasok ka na. You already have one foot in the door.
Yes, and you're moving towards, the tail end of the recruitment process, which is good. And also, we have to consider, there may be some applicants who have disabilities. So, of course, they have to disclose that at the start so that you can skip some parts of these, recruitment process that you have, and you can focus on the skills that you're actually looking for.
That's right. Yan, that's right. Ang saya ng usapan, and really, it's really, nakaka-energize siya. But okay, so part of our segment actually, Flair, is that we read one or two posts, either from Reddit or from our Onlinejobs.ph Facebook group.
Controversial posts.
I found something. The title for the post is "Got a remote job offer, but they use AI to track my work activity." Thoughts?
Wait.
So the OP just got an offer from a company that he likes. So the pay is solid, team looks good, and the work is right up his alley. But there's this one thing that's got him thinking. They told me about their monitoring setup during the interview process, which I appreciate them being upfront about. Basically, they have this AI thing running locally on your work computer that takes screenshots throughout the day. The AI looks at what you're doing and puts it into categories like programming or in a meeting or whatever, then gives you some kind of productivity score. The screenshots don't get sent anywhere and get wiped right after the AI analyzes them. Only thing that goes to management is the category of what you are doing and your focus score for the day. Wow, red or green flag ba ito? What do you think, ladies? Ang sabi ni OP, it's a better way than some of the horror stories I've read about companies tracking every keystroke or reading your messages. And they were totally transparent about it. But I've never dealt with this kind of setup before. Part of me thinks it's not bad since the actual screenshots stay on my machine and get deleted. But another part of me is wondering if there's some downside I'm not seeing. Anyone else work somewhere with similar monitoring? Am I being paranoid, or is this pretty standard now for remote work? Is it?
It's very interesting. Very interesting. I find it interesting because in the US or in other countries, there is a huge boom right now for ego-centric videos. Ego-centric meaning to say it's a point of view video where you are asked, you are paid to record something. So there was a startup who was able to raise so much because all over New York, they sent this, startup sent cleaners into apartments and paid the owners of the apartment. And then these cleaners have, overhead videos that record every part of their work.
Yeah, I read about that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Yes, this is called an ego-centric video. And I think that's what the employer is also doing, because later on, what do they do with that kind of data?
Gagawin yung content.
They train your AI. They train a model so that in the future, robots can do your work.
Okay, I'm speechless kasi parang I don't think ako lang kasi ang naisip ko lang the fear there is yung data privacy.
It is. Yes. That is the concern. Yes. Even in the Philippines, that's something that we have to raise. No. If the lawyers of these startups are good, they would have that covered. No problem. I'm sure they have some policies or like parts of their terms and conditions that, hey, this is what's going to happen. You should be aware of this. Do you agree that you're going to be recorded? And then if you say yes, you go on with your day, you get paid, everyone's happy, right? But you're aware that you're delegating or you're sending your data somewhere in a server that's going to eventually become data points of an LLM that's training,
And it's eventually going to replace you.
Well, for the good and bad of it, yes.
I'll be the devil's advocate. I don't think it's purely like data collection. Yeah. On the other side of things, if for example they say that kunwari may disclaimer, hopefully these tools that are being installed in your machines have disclaimers that all of the data is encrypted. That's why we don't send your screenshots or whatever in another server. It stays in your machine, and all it does is really just rate your score. It may be a better alternative versus the other monitoring tools if they perfect it, and if their main goal is really not, getting just learning from how you do your work. Kasi feeling ko it already has so much learning points. We're giving everything. I mean, even me, I have to admit, I'm a little uncomfortable with the stuff that I give to AI. So I think ang dami niyang sources. It's also possible that that may not be it, and it's really just a work monitoring tool.
Could be. Yeah. I mean, we're familiar with that in any job site. I mean, with a certain job site, that's always the standard. Even before AI was here, there's always monitoring, right?
Yeah.
And if they added that data point where, take a screenshot, put a data point whether you are productive or not, takes a look at which apps you're using, then again, it goes back to the the capitalism of it, and the capitalist motivation as to why they need that data point. It's because that's the modern gold right now. Data is gold, and for the reason that these companies are trying to train robots to do automation.
That's true.
But the questions are really good. And that it's not 100% trust. Now,
Yeah.
should I be paranoid, or is this good? Is this bad? Because we really need to talk about it, because it's new technology and it's inside your computer. Everything is there. It's connected to your
Yep.
phone. Also.
Yep. Imagine how we don't have these conversations. Like our government does not know how to govern this one. They have no idea. Like, is data privacy enough? Are the things that we have with NTC enough? Is DTI enough?
There are no framework.
Questions like that, but no one can answer it at all. No one.
No one can answer it yet.
Yes.
But-
No one is. There's no committee that's being the brain behind what are we going to do really. So
But it's also Flair. It's also a good point between the difference if you're working for a client or working for an employer, because these types of tools, they're more ideal if you have a client and you're paid by the hour, because
Oh.
then they really want to monitor your hours.
yeah.
If you're employed full time, it's normally output based, so they expect the output. If you did it for 5 hours kasi magaling ka, or if you had to do it in 9 hours kasi mabagal ka, they don't care. But if you're paid per hour, the monitoring tools are really important. And I understand.
Actually, yung yung monitoring tool, yung tracking niya, the screenshots and everything, that's common among almost every job site meron. Hubstuff, Upwork, Onlinejobs.ph, they all have that. But ang kakaiba lang dito is it's installed in your computer and it creates its own categories. So how can you, as the yung OFS or yung nagtatrabaho, the VA, the person working, how can you be sure that the categorized work ni AI, na sinabi ni AI na ito yung category ng works na ginawa mo for the day, is accurate? Right? And
Yes.
also, ang mga maganda rin yung mga questions dito sa comments nung post somebody asked, who knows what other companies are doing without telling you? In a good economy, I'd pass this over in a second, but if I needed a job badly, I might take it while still looking. So, parang good and bad din siya for the employer, because it ends up tataas yung turnover rate mo
Yep.
as the employer. It would be kind of interesting to see what they do with a guy who is legitimately doing his job. I'm a bit neurotic to begin with, and this wouldn't help. But if I'm doing the job right, maybe I don't get flagged. This may be looking for the guy who has 2 jobs and has a pattern of nothing happening on screen for 2 hours at a time. I've definitely felt like I've worked with 1 or 2 of those. Yes, for those remote workers na gumagamit ng electric fan to move their mouse.
Very smart, diba? Wala si AI dyan.
Manual is still best.
Smarts ng
Siguro, a safe option also, if you have an employer that's requiring you to do that, or even if you're using a lot of AI, is have a separate machine.
Yeah.
That's purely for your AI. It doesn't have your other files. It doesn't have
Agree.
the login details that you normally use. It's really just for AI.
Or if your employer is forcing you to use AI in all of the things that you're doing, siguro it's about time that you ask them for credits as well. Like, ayoko ng subscription, but sa akin to, dapat charge ko sa'yo. Diba? Or like what you said, get a separate machine for work, and then maybe you can like SSH into it or tunnel into it, and then tell your employer na, sige, whenever I work, I actually go to this machine, which you own, and then all the data is there. All my output would be there. That would be fair, right? Oh, that would be fair, instead of using your own machine. Yeah,
Oh.
but if you're using AI assistants, I mean, there's no, you know, there's no, there's little risk, I would say, kasi naka-harness yung AI mo. So harness, that's a new thing as well. Last week it was harness engineering. This week it's now loop engineering. Ang daming engineering. Sabi ko, etong AI talaga, it will make you crazy if you're following every single development of AI.
Ang daming alam.
Yes.
It's changing so much. I remember there was a time when it was saying na, wow, ang tagal na walang update ni Google. Like a really major update, not just the
Yeah.
minor. Because biglang pumasok ang AEO and then, you know,
Yes.
we have to change everything.
Yes. Oh, 'di ba? Parang there was a recent update ngayon ni Google na parang they're putting their foot down as to what to do with AI content, whether tama bang may LLMs na text dapat, yung mga ganun. So, yeah, Google is still the GOAT. That's why they're adding AI overviews as parang permanent already on the search.
Isa
But-
pa yan.
Yeah.
Major change in SEO is the AI overview.
Yes, ang daming changes. So parang ikaw as a job seeker, you might see all the latest posts. Pero there was a thing that I was doing. I was actually searching for parang posts for job openings, and then yung parang lumabas na results, puro AI generated sites, parang not legit sites.
Yes, yeah.
AI generated, and then when I clicked on them, parang saan ba ito pumupunta? Parang scam sites. So maybe these smart people are creating hacks on how to rank on Google using their spammy AI generated sites. So pag click mo, it will show up in your ChatGPT or Perplexity or AI overviews as a result. Pero pag click mo, parang ba't spammy to? Ba't hindi siya reliable, di ba? And that's why branding matters.
Yeah.
Like OLJ, you're already known for being, a reliable, trusted job site. So this is where being a, human with branding matters, personal branding. Kasi at least ma-remember nila na, ito, I went into a scammy site, I didn't gain anything from all that searching, all that prompting. Now I go to the real ones. And the real ones will know how to, take care of me.
Yeah.
Ganun eh.
Yes.
Oh.
And that's how the job seekers should also view their profiles.
Exactly.
You don't want to give employers something that looks like spam.
Mhm.
You want it to look legitimate because it is.
Yes.
Yes.
True.
That's true. And
It's all about personal branding now. That's how you differentiate yourself from an AI-generated persona.
I love this talk. Gusto ko pa siyang pahabain, but we're running out of time and my recording app is nabiblink na kasi ubos na talk time natin. Paubos na siya. But thank you so much, Fleire. I really learned so much.
Thank you.
I like talking to you talaga because there's a lot of things that can be discussed in just an hour. But if you're giving one piece of advice for online Filipino specialists, so basically job seekers who feel like AI is their last resort to getting a job online, what piece of advice can you give them?
Don't let yourself get into a situation where you are desperate, because money hates desperation. Use AI when you are at the point of just playing with it. Use it as a playmate. If you are desperate in typing out your prompt because you really need this job, the AI can sense it just like your employers. You're really desperate. So I would suggest, if you have a huge interest in AI, because it's really addicting. AI is addicting. That is the reality of it. If you're at the point where you're exploring AI, think of it as a playmate. I've been telling other people this as well. Like, think of it as a playmate. Explore your interests. Maybe if you're not an expert in digital marketing right now, you might be in the future if you use that, your AI assistant to become a playmate, right? So don't be desperate, but use AI as your playmate and, feed your curiosity.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much. And any last
having
words?
me.
Yes.
Yes, visit dashocontent.com. We're opening soon. Maybe later I will announce it, but just to let you know, quite a bit of a hint, we're opening it to also gig workers later, but more of creators, influencers who are looking for this kind of opportunities as well. So maybe later we'll have an official launch. But yes, visit dashocontent.com if you can write, if you have digital marketing expertise. We're looking for partners. We're looking for agencies that have the expertise, the human expertise. Okay, be specific about it. Yeah, and then if you're interested in chatting with me, I'm Fleire Castro on all profiles, all socials. So yeah, reach out to me if you have other questions.
Di ba may podcast ka before?
Yes, I do. I still have a podcast and it's active until I next publish the episode that's waiting for me on my inbox.
Okay, we'll tag your podcast sa publicity.
Yes, please. The Wicked Thoughts
We will
podcast.
tag
You can listen to it. We have lots of tips, lots of people there as well.
Yeah,
So,
remember
yeah.
that.
Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you so much.
Thank you, Flaire. I would really recommend everyone to also follow Flaire on her social media accounts and her podcast, because you can really learn a lot from her.
Walang tapon. So I hope everybody learned something from our episode today. And ayan, so again, just to reiterate, AI is your co-pilot, but it's not your driver. So you have to always keep 20% human touch front and center. Ayan, and if you have any experiences, good, bad, or ugly experiences with AI-generated applications or AI-created na mga cover letters, share it with us in the comments or via email, jehan@onlinejobs.ph. Yes, and also I would like to invite everybody to WordCamp PH 2026, happening in August 28 to 29 at Iloilo Convention Center in Iloilo City. See you there, everybody. Thank you so much, Flaire.
Bye.
Hey, make sure to join the conversation in the Onlinejobs.ph Facebook group and subscribe to the Onlinejobs.ph Job Seeker newsletter. We're dropping even more tips and tea straight to your inbox so you don't have to navigate the remote world alone.